Titter pigs, oh yeah. They're gonna talk about sweet, sweet RPGs. And it's the Titter Pigs, the RPG podcast. Am I getting paid for this one?
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Titter Pigs. This is episode 61. Scott and I are back in studio doing the thing that we do so poorly. That is record.
Oh, yeah. No, we definitely run a tight ship here at the Titter Pig Studios, and it shows.
Keep bailing, you bastards! Keep bailing!
So, yeah, we are recording on a overcast Memorial Day weekend here,
Fact.
and we're going to be going into a topic session where this is not going to be an interview, as you probably can tell by the thumbnail as you have joined us here. But before we move into that segment, we're just going to kind of go over what's been new with us, because it's been a while, and we've both been busy doing various things in our lives personally, but also things regarding games. Not a lot, but let's just touch base. So, Keith, what's up with you, man?
Nothing.
All right, cool.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have not been up to a lot lately. Still doing a lot of reading for pleasure.
Yeah.
So, my Wednesday night game group has started doing a seasons kind of thing, kind of modeled after the Raspy Raven Discord server.
Okay, cool.
So, one of our players, Roz, longtime listener, never time caller, she and I put together a Google Sheet with a laundry list of mechanics and themes and genres, and I wrote a quick little script, and we just hit a button for the script, and it picks something at random for us.
Cool.
So currently we are on dungeon crawl. So
Okay.
Yeah, mostly fantasy type stuff, grimdarky, dungeon crawly stuff. So I'm running Outcast Silver Raiders.
Okay.
She did Trophy Dark.
Interesting.
I'm doing Outcast Silver Raiders, and then the next thing up is Percentile D100 systems. So
Okay.
yeah, so the concept here is whoever in the game group, and there's 6 of us in total, whoever wants to run something can volunteer to run something within whatever mechanic or genre theme is chosen. You run it, just a single, either a one-shot or a very short story arc, and then we play through whoever's going to run stuff, and then we move on to the next theme or mechanic.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I'm going to do Delta Green for the next one.
Oh, nice.
Because my 15-year-old granddaughter has badgered me. So I have either done a very good job or I have royally effed up in selling Delta Green. As a, let's not go there kind of thing.
Awesome.
So
you're going to start with God's Teeth or Lover in the Ice to introduce her to
we
the
are
game.
not doing Lovers in the Ice ever. No Lover in the Ice ever with my granddaughter. No. And God's Teeth, I'm going to try to avoid that like the plague. I'm going to just run Last Things Last.
Sure.
And we'll see if, what the interest level is at that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to dive into the Delta Green swamp feet first with a cinder block tied around your ankles when you're running it for someone younger. It's easy enough to kind of still get the same vibe and differentiate it from other games like Call of Cthulhu without having to evoke the lovely spirit of Caleb Stokes in all of his glory. So, but I mean, you can always do PX Poker Night, and she can listen to you bitch for 4 hours as you get upset.
I will bitch because it's not a goddamn PX, it's a fucking BX because they're on an Air Force base. Thank you and fuck you.
Oh.
All right, Scott, what have you been up to lately?
Kind of the same. I mean, there's really nothing that is extremely focused. I've been maneuvering in and out of the games that I've been running and playing. Primarily, got 2 good sessions back to back of Impossible Landscapes with that crazy crew, and it is going well. I mean,
those lovely little people.
Oh yeah, it still can be described as a clown car with endless cocaine in it at times, but we have progressed. They've actually moved the second chapter forward quite a bit.
Oh, they moved on to meth. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a bit of a clusterfuck. I did have some fun though because they decided to do the one evocation. Spoiler alert for those who are listening, but there's a particular spell that you can use to conjure what may or may not be demons within Impossible Landscapes, and each one has a different personality and what they provide or can do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So that was great fun, kind of walking them through that and just them looking at each other. Yeah, like what is this? What is going on?
Oh yeah.
So that's been great fun. I've been really enjoying the DCC Caverns of Thracia game that Andy Markham is running for us in our usual group, as this is really the first time that I've actually gotten into the leveled aspect game of DCC. I mean, I've run plenty of funnels. I've run plenty of leveled games of your level 2, level 3, but I've never gone through the progression of it. And it is a lot of fun because I think a lot of people feel like DCC is kind of like, it's the funnel. The funnel is the whole reason. And then kind of once you get to level 1, it's just your standard D&D fantasy XP leveling game. And mind you, there's aspects of that there, but it is a lot of fun. And I'm playing a wizard and utilizing a wizard over several sessions as I move from level 1 and level 2 and level 3. And just going through, really getting deep into the weeds with spell casting. DCC, as you know, massive book. Nobody is going to sit down and read that whole thing. You take it in pieces as you need it. And pretty good foundation of magic in the game, but there's still plenty of things that are new that I'm discovering within the game. That's like,
I can imagine.
This is cool. So if anyone is looking to run a campaign and they're looking for something different for a fantasy role-playing game, they may think, well, DCC is just going to be like another version of Dungeons and Dragons. No, it's definitely worth checking out. Interesting situations with with my YouTube channel. So for a period of time, I had a USB port that stopped functioning. My standard format for the unboxings is it's a 2-camera format. Well, I'll have a camera on me, kind of doing a bit of an introduction, and then it'll be a top-down view as I unbox it and go through the book.
Right.
And, a little green screen me in the corner. I mean, it depends. These things are kind of at a preference level. Some people like it, some people don't. And you kind of just roll with how it works, but it doesn't really bother me either fucking way because it's not my job. This is essentially another aspect of the hobby, and I do it for fun. So, sure. if they want to see me or they don't. No one has ever really said anything otherwise. It's just like the interactions are at a minimum about what I'm talking about, not the aesthetics. But what was interesting and could be purely coincidental was after I brought back the camera, I did a unboxing of the 2 laundry file core rule books. The collector's slipcase, which I picked up at a really good price through Noble Knight, and they made a horrible mistake, as I mentioned to you before.
I remember.
In their pricing. I brought back the camera. Now, I'll get bored, right? You can see, if you go back a few years, the general format is how I do it will change. Sometimes I'll experiment with something for 1 or 2 episodes, go back to something. Nothing is standardized because, again, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want and what makes me happy. But for some reason, after this particular one, like within a day, 6, 7 followers or subscribers just dropped off, which could be bots. I'm always curious of the people who find it within them to unsubscribe to something like a YouTube channel, because for me, it's kind of like I subscribe and it's forgotten. I don't care. There's really nothing. It's got to be something horrendous that's going to make me go through the effort
Yeah, you're an old white guy.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, again, it's not. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but it's just one of those interesting things of when someone, however minor it may be, when someone unsubscribes or unfollows you on whatever social media or whatever it may be, there's, most people say it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't, but there's also always a little tiny piece of curiosity going, the fuck did I do? You
existed.
I existed. So we'll see. Maybe the next one we'll do one of those VTubers. Well, it'll just be like an anime version of me with cat ears and a black nose with whiskers, and maybe that'll keep the
fucking dork.
Keep the people happy. But
nice.
Yeah. So that's I mean, kind of it. I mean, like you've just been reading and preparing for other games, just kind of, but taking it easy, work,
nice.
Everyday life. We're rolling into the summertime, man. There's going to be a mixture of social engagements that are going to take precedent over, the hobby aspect as it does during the holidays, and just looking forward to the rest of the family finishing school and and enjoying their time off. Around
I love
here.
being an empty nester.
Oh, I mean, someday,
your time will come, my friend.
My time will come. So,
well, with that, why don't we move on to our main segment and get on with our real conversation?
Let's do it.
You said you had an intro?
Yep.
All right.
So, and this part will probably leave in. So, yeah, I scripted something. We are trying to be more legit as we roll into our 4th season, 5th. I just put random numbers in when I drop.
Whatever. We're on our 200th season.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, let's get into this. Welcome back, everybody. Today, this moment, we're going to be talking about something most tabletop gamers eventually realize is its own bizarre subculture, and that is tabletop convention culture and its aesthetics, because conventions are honestly weird when you step back and look at them objectively. Don't you think so, Keith?
Absolutely. They are the weirdest and most lovable amalgamation of people, things, practices. It's everything just all smashed together for a long weekend of fun, love, and gaming.
Oh yeah, quite so. So for those who are not familiar with it, for a few days, anywhere from hundreds to thousands descend onto a hotel or convention center, barely sleep, survive on caffeine and bad decisions, spend way too much money in dealer halls, and somehow collectively decide that this is one of the best weekends of their entire year.
Fact.
And within that chaos exists this entire ecosystem of archetypes, rituals, unspoken rules, survival tactics, lobby culture, dealer hall goblins, exhausted GMs, and late-night philosophical RPG conversations. And conventions have changed so much over the years, too. They're part fan gathering, part industry event, part reunion, part live entertainment, and part endurance trial. So tonight, we're diving into this weird anthropology of tabletop convention culture. The good, the bad, the absurd, the exhausting, and why despite it all...
Wait.
Yes.
Hit the brakes, bitch.
I have one line left, but go on.
Okay. I thought this was going to be anthropomorphic.
Anthropology of tabletop conventions.
Fine. I'll stick around.
And despite it all, why they keep coming back every year. And, gentle listener, this is why we don't do scripts. So let's get into the meat of it.
Oh my God. Let's do this. This is going to be fun.
Okay. So, fuck.
Dear listener, like Scott said, we do not do scripts well. So Scott, you did brilliant with your script.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, buddy.
I'll be editing a round of applause in here and possibly editing out your interruptions, but hey, no. So Keith, I mean, you and I have been to many conventions, different types, different styles over the years. And I think it kind of goes without saying that before we kind of get into the various discussion topics that we have, I think the real convention for most anyone who goes to these things is what is generally known as the social track or the hallway track. The aspect that that people who come here primarily go for the unscheduled conversations, the lobby hangs, the late night decompression periods, because those are always more memorable than the panels or games that we end up playing.
For you and I, yes. But I would argue, though, in my mind, there are two types of people that go to conventions, though.
Okay.
Because let's put aside like company owners and vendors and stuff like that, right? Let's put those aside. That's a whole different crew of people. But, you and I, we go for socializing and meet and greets and connect with people and see friends, make new friends, hang out with old friends, right?
Right.
But then there are people that, depending on the type of convention, specifically go to play games. They're not social people. They have very short, small social batteries. They could give two shits about social tracks and social events. They're there to play like Magic the Gathering, and that's all they want to do. They are there to play in a miniatures tournament, and that is the only thing that they are focused on. They don't care about anything else.
Mm-hmm. No, so. I agree, and that kind of falls into some of the things that we may touch upon, like certain people's particular rituals and reasons why they go.
I'm trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves. But.
No. But I would also say that also those people who aren't there for the social dynamic outside of the games they're playing, they still have a social dynamic within the games that they are engaging with that deal with various aspects of trust, improvisation, emotional investment, and the bottom line is regardless of what it is you're doing, at some moment you are still conducting this particular social etiquette with complete strangers you've never met before.
Absolutely. No, you are spot on with that. Mm-hmm. So yes, you are right in that conventions are a very social event and gathering event, even for some of the most antisocial type people.
Sure.
It is still a social event. So
why don't we dive with two particular topics that I kind of think merge together. Okay. That many people will recognize, and also some people who are going to their first conventions or haven't been to a lot may essentially have their eyes open as they maybe take a moment and look at these. So we've got two things that make up a predominant aspect of conventions. And mind you, dear listener, these are all opinions of ours. We did not do a sociological, anthropological dissertation on this. We're kind of making this up as we go.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So we've got our convention archetypes, and then also we've got conventions as temporary societies, or as a lot of people call it, tribes. So what are some of your observational archetypes that you see at many of these conventions?
Wow. Okay, so
there's a lot.
Yeah. And they really run the same as like the temporary societies or cliques, whatever, however you want to pronounce it, right? They kind of, it's all blended together, but I mean, you have your social gamer, right? The person that goes to the convention that is the social butterfly that wants to play in all the games and talk to all the people while you're playing the game, whether it's a talking game or not, right? You have the type of person that is there to just play games. They don't, like I said previously, they don't want to overly socially interact with people. They just want to play whatever it is they want to play, and they want to just play. They will start at the earliest possible moment, and they will play until they shut the game hall down. And then they might continue on in the lobby or in a hotel room somewhere. All they want to do is play, because this may be the only time that they really get to play games all year round.
True. Very true. And
so they try to pack as much in as they can.
Right. And I think a sidebar to that is these type of personalities or archetypes, these are the ones that you may see online constantly obsessing over when game schedules are open, when signups occur. These are the ones that may have even a spreadsheet as they meticulously plan their entire weekend, hour to hour. Literally, you may see them when you first step in when the convention starts, and unless you're in a game with them, you won't see them till the convention's done, because they are just moving from table to table to table, somehow existing with very little sleep or food or deodorant, but that's different.
All right, so I'm going to interject here. Listen, people, if you can afford to go to a game convention, you can at least afford to slap on deodorant a couple times a day. Okay, I've said it. That's the big elephant in the room. I've said it. There, we can move on.
Sure.
Okay. Some of the other ones I've noticed is you've got the big social butterfly, like you and I, we like to go to conventions, play a handful of games, and then we are talking with people, drinking with people, making new friends, all of that stuff, right?
Right.
Hanging out with people becomes priority 1. Games almost become priority 2, right? But then you have people who go to conventions who, depending on the convention, right, they are there for the vendor experience. They make that a priority 1 or priority 2. They think Gen Con, right? It's day 1, all games be damned, I am running to the vendor hall kind of person, because we had to do that the first time we went to Gen Con, right?
Yeah.
The whole lot of us, the gang of us.
I've got a note. I've got a note here for that particular one, because I was going to talk about it. I call it the vendor hall berserker.
Yeah. But that's at very particular conventions, because they have to be a large size convention to have a massive vendor hall,
right?
To draw that kind of player or attendee,
right?
But you still get those players. I like vendor halls because I like to see what's new if you have company reps there, that type of stuff. But at the same time, I like as an attendee, and I know you do too, I like to see what vendors are selling that are secondhand, and I also like bring and buys, flea markets, auctions, those kind of stuff. So I like the used kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I think that kind of rolls into one that I will bring up. That we're, for lack of a better term, I'm going to label as the industry cryptid. And who essentially this is the creator, the designer, the podcaster, artists, writers, so on and so forth, who everyone kind of vaguely recognizes. Nobody is entirely sure how famous they are, but somehow appears everywhere at once. And, this is the person that's always on a panel. They're, always at the dinners. They're doing interviews. There's hallway conversations, spontaneous networking. These are the people that are there, generally speaking, to create connections, maintain ties, and whatnot. These essentially fall in line with a lot of the publisher representatives that are there,
right?
The streamers and podcasters. They move between so many different circles, and again, you may see them briefly for a moment, and then next thing you know, they're at some other location at a table with a bunch of people you don't even recognize or know, but people seem to know them. We've had a little tiny mingling of that in our excursions to conventions at times.
Sure have.
But this, these are the people who love to go there for the same reasons of these, the social butterflies, but primarily they're there to make connections, possibly get noticed, and gather information on more of the industry side of things.
Right.
And these, and these people do. I think these are the ones that primarily do a lot of the conventions, other than, obviously the people who are just there to play games and run games. But this guy this person makes it a point to be at these conventions for specific reasons, outside of what the convention is offering. So, and it takes a person with a strong constitution to operate that way. I mean, we've tried. We got through maybe one interview.
Yeah, we did a panel, and then we followed that up with setting up our equipment, and then doing an interview, and then just kind of socially hanging out, and that turned into let's have a beer and lunch, and 4 hours later of just shooting the shit. And because we're social people.
Yeah,
and again, that becomes our modus operandi when we go places and do things together.
Yeah.
Because that becomes our priority, and things become second nature. So we're not the celebrity cryptid kind of or industry cryptid kind of person. And it's nice to have the news and stay connected with the industry, because we are part of the industry in a sense, and at different levels, and so that staying connected is great,
right?
But we stay connected in our own way.
Oh yeah,
as everybody that goes to conventions stays connected in some form or fashion,
right? Whether
it be industry or new friends, old friends. Just playing their favorite game.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that kind of falls into, we don't need to move on to it yet, but there are the archetypes that we're kind of talking about, but they can easily fall into the different tribal aspects, or the little pop-up societies that occur at these conventions. And mind you, we're discussing primarily role-playing games. But a lot of conventions have their own sections: role-playing games, board games, the trading card games, and they may mingle a bit, but most of them kind of, they stake out their own corner and exist.
They stay there.
And they stay there. They exist within their ecosystem and want nothing to do from the others.
Let's just go there. Let's just fuck it. Let's just go there, bro.
Okay. So,
because the conventions I go to, some of the local regional conventions I go to, and we both have been to Gen Con twice, and we've done Chaosium Con together, and you've gone to some local regional stuff out there in California. And you're right that like role players will play in this corner, and you've got the board gamers in that corner. You've got those that do just the cards, whatever, pick your flavor of card. And they're over here, and then
go on.
And you've got the miniatures gamers over here doing whatever flavor of miniature is like the thing at that time, whether it's historical or whatever.
We're forgetting an important one though that exists at most conventions. And those are the midnight werewolf gamers, which nobody wants anything to do with. Lock them in their room, unlock it at 3 a.m, and then just pretend they don't exist. All right, go on.
And then you have like the freeform and the LARPers too. That they're a group unto themselves at some conventions, not all conventions, but some conventions.
Right.
And there are cross-pollination and cross-mingling, as you alluded to, between these different groups, but there's not a lot, which is a shame, because I play historical, like tabletop war games, Hex Encounter and card-driven games, but I'm also big into role-playing games. But 99.9% of the time, when I go to a convention, I am playing role-playing games. My schedule, when I pick games off of a schedule, is going to be role-playing games. Rarely will I drop my butt down in a chair and play a board game unless I don't have anything in that particular time slot and I want something to do, and I've done the vendor hall and I'm just killing time. I will sit down and demo a game with somebody, if they're trying to like, sell me on their game, especially if it's a game designer or a company rep or something. Yeah, cool. Sell me on your game. I'll sit down, I'll play, and, give me a 30-minute demo or whatever it is. Or I'll observe people playing a historical miniatures game, or especially because I love like looking at, beautiful terrain. I don't have an interest in card flopping and stuff like that. I got out of that, 2 decades ago. But
yeah,
I can appreciate those that go to conventions. They love what they love. And I love that they love their thing,
Sure.
But I do wish there was more like commingling, because there's some cool people that do different things. But we don't all talk to each other. And that's the kind of sucky part.
No, and you may see this more at the larger conventions like Gen Con, and not necessarily that they don't exist at smaller conventions, but there just isn't that many people to kind of congregate in their little circles as much. But I mean, looking at Gen Con, a lot of the ones that are going to pop out as example of, these little temporary societies and, the people who kind of keep to their own tribe. I mean, the big one, of course, that stands out, and this is not a critique, mind you, I'm just identifying it, is the Dungeon Crawl Classics group. I mean, these are the tabletop role-playing game hobbies deadheads. These are a group of people that go there for a specific reason. They are embraced and welcomed by those who operate the Goodman Games corner of whatever convention. They know each other. They travel together. They'll stay together. They do their own thing when the convention is done on the sidelines and whatnot. And that's a lot of them. That's their entire focus, because it is what it is. It is welcoming. It is fun. There's, it is still Dungeon Crawl Classics, but there's various flavors of DCC and whatnot. But you will see some other aspects there, such as there's the PBTA group that kind of coexist. A lot of these aren't necessarily culturally grouped together, but it's the love of a game. Now, mind you, a lot of the PBTA people, maybe a little bit of the younger sort, so to speak. They have a specific interest in storytelling games, so it may roll into that. We've got our OSR people, who also have their own little subcultures within
Hey, get off my lawn!
Yeah,
Sorry, can't help myself sometimes.
No, but there's that. Then there's also the more of the OSR doesn't mean anything; it's a vibe, and they tend to branch off in their own things. Then there's the publisher ecosystems. There's the Chaosium ones, and the Goodman Games we had just met. There's various aspects of people who are, I just want to play Free League or Modifius, and it's.
But that's the beauty of a convention, though, because like especially the big ones, right? You go whether it's Gen Con or Origins or Big Bad or Gamehole, any of those like the really big conventions. Essen Spiel in Germany, like if you're into board games and you're over in Europe, you can go to these big game conventions and you can play whatever it is that you want to play.
Sure.
If there's a particular thing that you like, you can go play it.
Right.
And you can congregate with those that have the same interests as you and do the thing that you want to do. Like True Dungeon at Gen Con. I don't understand True Dungeon, but you know what? It has this massive following and people play it. They pay money to play it and they love it and they're having a great time and all the power to them and bloody hell.
Right.
Love it for them.
Right. And yeah.
Now I go to conventions to play games, specifically when I'm gearing up to play games and not doing, like, especially online cons, right? But even in-person cons when I know it's not going to be a big social thing, like when you and I are not getting together at a convention, right?
Sure.
And I'm going to stack my slots to play games. I'm specifically trying to play games that I've never played before. That's like one of my con cultural things.
Right.
I try to play games, systems, RPG systems I've never played before. If I can't do that, then I always try to play something, scenario or something that I have never played before.
And that's another part of it, because let's take a moment to talk about that, because there is definitely one of the big things about conventions and convention culture is the convention game.
Right.
What it takes to run a convention game, what it takes to be a player at a convention game, is an entirely set of acceptable aspects and
etiquette
that don't really apply at your regular gaming table, whether it be in person or online. And I think a lot of people venture into that completely unaware. I mean, again, especially for new to come, talking like, I'm an old hat. I've only been going to conventions for probably the past 12 years. I never went to one back in the day.
Right.
But
nor did I.
Yeah, but a lot of this is still the same. And so, when I first went to my first con game and played it, it didn't take me too long to kind of maneuver into what was required. But when I ran my first game at a convention, oh, fuck me. I literally just could not get to the end of what I was running because I wasn't expecting, it to be this way. I mean, 4 hours or 3 hours, God forbid, or even 2 hours if if you're nasty and also UK, it goes by really quick. And if you give people their particular spotlight and agency you would in a normal table game, you're never going to get to the end. You're never going to have a complete experience. So, yeah,
pacing is super critical in a con game, more so than in a regular like weekly game or bi-weekly game. Preparation is super critical. Mm-hmm. Etiquette is different, like because you're going to have strangers showing up to the table you have never met.
Sure.
They've never met you. You've never met them. So, regardless of how you feel about gender and pronouns, you have to stuff your own personal beliefs and pride,
right.
And be respectful of everybody who sits down at your table, because conventions have rules and social rules and policies that you agree to as a game master to abide by. And if you, God forbid, you didn't read those rules prior to agreeing to run a game and you violate them, you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And even as a player, you need to have reasonable expectations. I mean, we touched on this with on our episode with Josh Burnett when we were talking about convention GMing. And, one of the things that Josh had mentioned is he's not confrontational. And so he does not dealing with problem players, which I guarantee you, if you run a game at a convention with any sort of consistency, you will run into one, whether you like it or not. And you need to be prepared to deal with that. But also as a player, you need to go in there, knowing full well that once you sit down, the stopwatch starts. And you need to be perfectly aware of the people around you. And yes, I know you bought a ticket. Yes, I know you either you paid $50 or $15 or whatever. But that does not essentially give you the onus to make this all about you.
Right. It's not a license to be a fucking dick.
Yeah, or it's also not a license to treat it as a normal game. I've run games where someone wanted to give a 5-minute monologue as to the aspect of who their character is and what they're doing, and I kind of had to cut them a little bit short and said, "The clock's ticking, pal. We need to get through this."
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't enjoy that because they don't feel that it is the experience of what RPGs should be, and that's fine. But if you accept it for what it is and treat it like what you had mentioned and I agreed with, is you're kind of there to have a compressed experience, and a lot of times to try a game you've never played. And,
correct. Yeah.
And that's part of the expectations as a player.
Yeah. So, if everybody comes to the table with those expectations, then the games typically go with little to no issues.
Sure.
But you start running into problems when game masters aren't prepared.
Sure.
For that 12 hour, for that 4 hour slot. And players show up with over expectations of what a convention game is. And it's usually when that happens, it's usually somebody that's new to game conventions. And they're not used to the game convention culture,
right,
or experience, and that just comes with inexperience, and they learn, and everybody's got to start somewhere. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're an experienced GM, you know exactly what we're talking about. Just remember, show them a little grace.
Yeah. So moving on, a big aspect of conventions, when you get a large group of people there, you will see a lot of videos. How to handle Gen Con, how to do Game Hole Con, how to make your way
How to handle Gen Con? Don't fucking go.
Yeah.
There's too many people.
Right. How to make your way through a convention and not come away completely dead tired and exhausted. So what entails that are a lot of rituals that occur at conventions that people will die on the hill saying this is what you need to do to make the most of your convention experience. So do you have any specific rituals of your own or survival tactics and whatnot?
I wouldn't call them rituals. I would call them tactics.
Sure.
Try to get a good night's sleep.
Okay.
B, take a shower in the morning and wear fucking deodorant. That's just a healthy thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, seriously, besides wear deodorant, for God's sakes, please wear deodorant.
Yeah.
I try to, in reality, I try not to play night sessions.
Okay.
I will play the morning session. I'm more of a morning person than a night person. That's a key thing.
Right.
Other people are not morning people, and they can flip flop. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a morning person, don't sign up for a morning game. It's smart. Don't do it. Play the night session, because typically you have 3 sessions a day, right? Morning, afternoon, evening, right? Okay. So if you're not a morning person, don't play the morning one. Don't sign up for a game, because then if you don't show up, then you've just wasted a seat that somebody else could have had.
Right.
Okay. So what I typically do is, unless there's a game that I absolutely got to play, I try not to sign up for night games. So the ones that start at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, at like go away conventions, where I've traveled to, I try not. I generally kind of just like, I'll free float those, so I won't sign up for a game. But then if I decide, I'm not tired, I want to play a game, I will go find a game to play, whether it's a board game or there's hey, seats available in this role-playing game when this session's starting, I'll drop into a game.
Right.
Because typically I will spend that session at the bar or at the on-site bar or restaurant, socializing and networking and hanging out and doing the social thing, because I enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's one of my things that I do when I go to conventions.
Sure.
Like I get up early, I get my coffee, I shower, deodorize, I get my coffee, an hour or two before the session in the morning starts. So I'm awake before the session starts. So as a player, I'm not just dragging my ass to the chair going, okay, I'm here. Like, I'm engaged. I'm invested as a player.
Right.
So those are like 2 things that I do from the player side of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what I'm going to talk about here, I'm sure.
And I drink.
Yeah, of course.
That keeps the con crud away.
I mean, true. Other kinds of crud, though. So a couple of things that I'm sure will also fall in line with some of the things you do is I'm a bit of a planner, right? I don't need to have a set schedule throughout my entire day, but what I like to do is schedule around particular social things that I know may be going on.
Sure.
I do not sign up for a game from, for most cons are divided into 3 sections. We'll just, morning, afternoon, and evening. We'll just say that. I will pick a particular period, meaning if I'm gonna do a game in the morning, I will either not play a game in the afternoon or even the evening, because I know that time will probably be spent socializing, and we'll slot it in depending on the people that we're going with. Likewise, if this particular convention has, what a lot of them do is, if they're 4 days, the first day is usually a half day. And that half day is we're going to go get our badges if they haven't been mailed to us. And then we're going to go see a bunch of people we haven't seen. It kind of kicks it off. I don't sign up for a game that and
do a whiskey tasting.
Yeah, I don't sign up for a game the first day because it's usually a half day. Yeah. And so I make sure to know this type of particular convention. Of course, planning ahead, am I going to buy something? I need to make sure that there's space to bring shit back because, hey, people, flying is goddamn expensive and ridiculous now. It's the cost it takes to bring your shit back could potentially be cheaper if you wanted to take an hour to box it up and ship it home. Because it can be goddamn ridiculous when they try to charge you $50 to $150, depending on how much weight you have and how many bags you got. There's other aspects that come into play, is like you said. Not really a fan of a late night game unless if I'm traveling with a group like you and other people, we've all decided that this is what we're going to do, and we don't have anything leading up to that. You know what I mean?
Right, but then it becomes the social event.
Sure.
Of the evening, right? So because we're all agreed to do it and we're all committed to doing it. So now it's a social event. Yeah. More so the social event than the game, right? So game takes second fiddle to the social side of it.
Right. And I mean, other than that, it's still kind of it's half planned but half open-ended because everyone kind of learns over time. Your schedule will change. Something will come up you want to do. Somebody you'll meet will be doing something you'd rather be doing, and you will either sign up for something or back out of something last minute because that's just the nature of things. And I mean, you go on and on. I mean, shoes. If you're going to be walking, it's a big one. And again, there's plenty of YouTube videos of people who can give you
drink plenty of water.
Yeah.
Beer is not a great substitute for water, let me tell you.
Sure.
From personal experience. But drink lots of water. Seriously, it will help you.
Yeah, planning ahead, reading the program every day to see what's happening and whatnot. So if the event's big enough and it's got an app, use the app. It'll help you. Yeah, exactly.
Little things like that. Yeah.
Setting a limit on how much money you're going to spend because you will spend more. So be kind to yourself when you've reached that limit and whatnot. So I mean, there's plenty of different things, but just so you know, it is part of the culture to if you're going with someone or you're talking with someone, I guarantee you there is realistic rituals that occur, and there's a lot of people who have superstitious rituals on top of that.
Oh yeah, I don't have any superstitious rituals, but. No. But I am, like, especially when you get into like, people that play like Magic the Gathering tournaments and like tournament play, I am sure there are people that have like superstitious rituals. Like they got to have this thing hanging off their backpack or sitting on the table next to them. And I'm sure they're all types of rituals, or they got to have their Mokalaka Vente, blah, 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 before they can play a game.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of ritual.
And then there's also the health-related rituals to, like you said, get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, but also aspects to avoid what commonly known as con crud. Now, with the aspect of COVID that came out several years ago, there's another thing that people concerned themselves with. But generally speaking, con crud is just what it is. A huge gathering of people in enclosed locations for 3 to 4 days. Somebody in there is going to be carrying something. Nobody is going to be 100% healthy at these conventions.
As long as it's not Ebola, I'm good.
No, exactly. But it also can occur because you are tired, you're exhausted, your immune system is at an all-time low, and you come home and you feel like shit for a couple days. That's kind of generally what when people talk about con crud is. It's kind of a cold, kind of a flu, and just kind of like you just feel like shit because you caught the crud. Thankfully, maybe one time something like that occurred. I tend to avoid it, but again, I think those are for more a lot of people who are on the track of they're going everywhere, doing everything, and they're sitting with so many different people, whereas we may be moving through different people, but when we actually sit down together, maybe a game, and then we move on within our own group of people we're hanging out with and do our own thing. So,
And that's why you see people wear masks still, even today. Even like we were at Chaosium Con.
Yeah.
Just last month, there was still a number of people were still wearing masks.
And
that's cool.
And believe it or not, people, that shit occurred before COVID. There are people that would, I mean, there may not be as many.
It will continue on into the future.
Yeah. People.
And let me just say this. If somebody's wearing a mask, don't be a dick.
Yeah. Let them be.
The Will Wheaton rule applies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly.
For your support. So let's switch gears. And so now we're at the convention. Everybody's trying to like not get the con crud, and everybody's hanging in their social cliques and doing their thing and loving their games and drinking water and putting on their deodorant and doing all that stuff.
Right.
But let's switch gears to announcements, hyping up stuff, and like just event energy as a whole. Like, so bigger conventions, not small conventions, right? Like my little one that I go to, 600-700 people every year, does not do like product announcements from, companies. Cause like Goodman Games goes there. Brian Colin of Vast Grim Creature Collection, he goes there, but that's really about it. Black Oak Dice is there. But other than that, there's no like manufacturers, publishers there to do like product announcements or seminars and stuff like that, panels. So, but the big conventions have these events. Like when we were at Gen Con 2 years ago, you and I, Bud, we were at the D&D 2024 release party announcement event. That was super duper limited. We felt really out of place that we were even invited to this thing, but we were there, and like that was a super hyped up event. Yeah, like, that was the first year that WotC was there with D&D in more than a decade,
a while at least. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean themselves. I mean there were other aspects that they would have other people do to promote, but they were actually there.
But and like flogging D&D.
Right. I mean, technically they said they were there for the 50th anniversary reunion, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but no, I agree. And a lot of the larger conventions are going to have that. I mean, and looking back through the history, I mean, just generally speaking, take Gen Con, for example, because it's the largest one that the hobby has. Over the years, the introduction of Magic the Gathering, the mythic Vampire the Masquerade things that occurred there, where supposedly they were on LSD and brought it for everyone, and these various, these various the actual beginning, when it was still maintained by various aspects of TSR as they're announcing their flagship products as they were coming out, and so on and so forth. You will see, and mind you, these are sponsorships. These are people who are supporting the convention, but a lot of companies use these large conventions similar to how the other parts of the entertainment industry, movies and whatnot, to announce big things. This is their time to announce it to the biggest, largest group of people that this is what's coming, to grow hype for it, and rightfully so. That's this is
why
a
not?
business.
You have like that event gets 80,000 people a year.
Sure, and you will see it. Just about every
see it, smell it.
Yeah, every publisher will have something, and depending on how much of an influence or how much money they've contributed to Gen Con, it'll be either front and center or slightly to left or right. But like you mentioned, a lot of the smaller conventions don't really have this. They may have a representative there. I mean, like Strategicon, for example, there's a very small corner that is dedicated to Goodman Games, but they're not having any specific event. For the longest time, Flying Buffalo, because they would have a presence there. John Wick shows up there every once in a while. So there's people there, but it's not like a focused event. But what we're seeing occurring now with a lot of the publishers is they are creating these niche conventions. Chaosium, Goodman Games, and whatnot, where it's a small convention. It's guarantees people will be there too who loves their games and wants to play their games and interact with various events there that are, focused on that. And this also, if they do actually provide an announcement or hype, the hype creates a bigger connection because these people who are there for the publisher and they love those games, and now they're part of it. It's a lot more special when you're at a convention that is focused on a particular publisher and there's only 200 or so people in there and they bring you into the fold, as opposed to if you're one of 80,000 people at a convention.
It's a little more intimate.
And so...
And a lot less anonymous.
But yeah, no, it's definitely important for these smaller conventions when they do these things, and most of them do a relatively good job of it, that, the reason why these fans are coming to these small cons is because it's not just that they love their game, but there is, again, we've talked about the subcultures, the mini societies. They're guaranteed that everyone there is going to be one of them for the most part.
Yeah.
And also they're there because they feel like that the publisher is essentially thanking them for their support and are going to provide that particular type of gratitude through various events, announcements, panels, and whatnot.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
Good or bad? Company A announces at a convention. Just doesn't have to be Gen Con, doesn't have to be a company-sponsored convention. Just announces a product at a convention. But doesn't, so that's the big hype. They announce it, hey, this is coming. They have a limited release, like advanced release of it at that event. Say a couple of, it's a moderate-sized convention. They've got 50 books available before general release, which could be months away. Yay, nay? Is that fair?
Well, I mean, are you talking about, I guess it depends on the convention, right? The size and whatnot. I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but if you're making a major announcement and there's only 300 people there to witness it, at a general convention, mind you, I'm going to say at a general convention, it's not going to have as big impact if you did it at a larger convention.
Fuck it. Gen Con.
Okay.
Company X announces product Y at Gen Con.
Yeah.
It's going to be released 6 months from now, but has 50 of that product air shipped in, so they could have some demo copies and then they could have some for sale.
So we're not equating this with a particular Kickstarter thing. We're just saying in general, right? Because
just in general.
I mean, that to me, that's marketing 101. The more people you have seeing your game, the better. There's no guarantee though that they're going to be excited about it. They may see it and they may just go, whatever. Right. But I mean, it's the numbers game.
Right. What if it was a Kickstarter that hasn't delivered to people, and then that same company, same situation, same scenario, has 50 of them dropped for available general release at the convention, but yet backers don't have their product?
Yeah, I should have seen that mousetrap when you laid it.
I baited you.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker, bitch.
I think I'm fairly certain we may have discussed this on another episode, but it goes without saying I'm not a fan of that at all. I don't, again, it makes sense from a marketing point of view, but it does not make from a social management point of view, as far as maintaining your fans and your fandom of your game. And so I think in that decision, the social aspect needs to be accounted for, because 99% of the time, whenever they do that, they come with their excuse of, well, hey man, we're just getting people to like the game. It falls flat, because the people who have already invested their time, their effort, and their money feel betrayed. Agreed.
And the only reason I brought it up is because we are talking about conventions and convention culture and, announcements and hype and publishers and all of that.
Right.
And this is something that people, if they haven't already seen or experienced, because they've done backer kit or Kickstarter, GameFound, whatever it is.
Right.
If you haven't experienced it, you will. Trust me, you will.
Yeah.
Because we have, and you will. Because it happens, and it happens more often than we'd like to admit.
Sure.
And it's not like the publishers drop, having, 10 of the item brought in or 5 of them in to have as demo copies or preview copies.
Sure.
At the booth.
They're selling them.
Right. They are selling them. They're not advanced copies for backers to pick up at the event. Because I've seen publishers do that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem. I have absolutely no problem with that. Because then the backer can save on the shipping. Right. Totally cool with it. I have no problem with them bringing in some advanced copies to be demo copies if it's a board or card game, or flip through copies if it's a role-playing game book. Not a problem. Not a problem. I get marketing. Yeah. I get all of that. Like, you got to hype it. You got to hype it. You got to hype it. It's all numbers games. Not a problem. But when they drop in 50, 100, 200, 500 copies to sell, and they snub their nose at backers who made that possible, they lose goodwill in the game, in the gaming community as a whole.
Yeah.
And in turn, that's like besmirching the con community.
Right.
Know?
And it's a divide that doesn't just exist at a convention, and we can do another topic podcast about this, but generally speaking, when it comes to consumers in RPGs, there are 2 different types. There's the actual consumer aspect that is only concerned with that particular thing, that kind of rolls into it's just marketing. They're doing whatever they need to do to sell their book. And then there's the patron level people of support from the community who are more interested in the communal artistic expression and the individual aspects that go into RPGs. And again, one part of me can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing if I was running a business, depending on the actual situation, because it is a business. There's people who have paychecks to sign, bills to pay, offices to keep open. And mind you, they want to create a community of people, but sometimes those communities don't pay the bills.
I get, and that side of it too. I get, like, I've been a business owner. I get it, and it's a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
So there's good and bad of cons, right? So let's. I was gonna say, let's flip this script a little bit.
Yeah, I know where you're going. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Give it to me. So let's roll into something relatively new. If that's where you're going, I hope you were. That's I
don't know. Let's see where you want to go with this conversation.
So let's roll into something new that is now a part of conventions, both small and large, and that's the aspect of RPG fame, celebrity culture, primarily due to actual plays, streamers, YouTubers, and podcasters that are now a part, for good or bad, of the convention culture ecosystem. Do you agree?
I mean, we are part of, we are all part of that ecosystem as a whole. So,
but some people go there exclusively for that. They want to go watch that person talk at a panel and interact with them.
I can tell you, at the small convention I go to, I say small, it 600, 700, 800 people, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever their footfall is in every November, called Mythic Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if anybody's listening, I will be there in November. And I'm part of this ecosystem, right? Because I'm a podcaster.
Right.
But for those that are in the crafting scene, like gaming crafting scene, like DM Scotty goes there. He's a big crafter. He's also big in the RPG space. And every year he runs several RPGs and does crafting seminars there. Right. And people will, like, I remember a couple years back, he did a couple charity sessions and people paid like $25 a ticket to have a seat at his table because they did it for charity. Last year, and I think in previous years too, if I remember correctly, Professor DM goes there. It's like like one of his like stomping grounds. He goes and promotes his YouTube channel and his role-playing game, whatever his latest product is, and I think he goes with his wife and his daughter, and they make it a family thing, and they do the crafting and the gaming, and they just have a good time. Like,
yeah.
And it's a business trip for him, but he's but he's there hawking his wares, but people go. I don't know if they're going specifically to see either of these two gentlemen, but I think some people are specifically going, or when they know that they're there, they are specifically looking for games that they are running or events that they are part of to hang out with them.
Right.
So it's totally a thing. Just like when you and I were at Chaosium Con last month and we're hanging out with our good friend Seth, having a drink, and somebody comes by and goes, you're Seth, and and they have like a fanboy or fangirl moment, and it's hilarious. Like, yeah. I don't get it. I don't think you get it either. Like, not that people are fanboying and girling over us, but just like the idea of fanboying or fangirling over somebody. Like, I just don't do it. But
oh no, I mean it is literally a shock to the system when someone says to us, "Hey man, I listen to your podcast all the time."
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm like, you don't have to lie to us to make us feel good. We appreciate it. But yeah, so that's kind of like, I call that more of that type of celebrity culture that exists kind of 1 foot within the industry and one foot
in normalcy
outside of it. But then there's an entirely different celebrity subculture that follows the actual play circuit. And I think that one is the more powerful one of them all.
Agreed.
With people who will roll over your grandmother if they knew that they could go see Critical Role live, Push the Roll, the Glass Cannon. I mean, the Glass Cannon's on a tour to various venues selling out.
Or you remember when Will Wheaton was doing his thing?
Yeah. But even on the Chaosium level, there's like 3 different ones there. I mean, there's the Miskatonic Playhouse, there's Symphony Entertainment. And the thing is obviously people are enjoying these things, but a lot of these publishers there now rely on them to draw interest to their game, and so they put a lot of support behind these things at these conventions for people to go and enjoy. And of course, it includes other people in there. Like if Seth joins them in, that's an extra draw. Professor DM does, something with someone who's running an OSR game. Of course, people want to go and watch him do his thing and whatnot. But what's happening is these actual players who aren't part of the company, but are doing a lot of heavy lifting with the promotion. And let's be honest, some of them are getting paid for it in one way or another, are widely more popular.
Right, because they build up their own fan base, their own notoriety, their own fan base, right, and then they get recognized when they go to conventions.
Sure,
like I don't know if you recall, but the woman that was hanging out with us at Chaosium Con at the end of the convention, she is on does Symphony Entertainment.
Oh yeah,
she's one of the regulars on Symphony Entertainment, like.
But I mean, the big ones like, and of course, who's Becca Scott, like you said, Will Wheaton, all of these people. Who's the big guy who is also the big D&D fan, Joe Maggiano Lano.
Oh my God! Wow, you just butchered that. Now I'm not going to be able to pronounce it.
But again, these are businesses too. These are people that this is all encompassing. This is their focus, and they're doing these things to create revenue and pay people who do these things for them. I'm talking on the larger levels. We're not talking about
Vin Diesel.
No, it's Joe Manganiello.
Vin Diesel plays.
Oh
D&D.
yeah, he was in the kind of like when it started making its resurgence. He was like, I play D&D too. But people go to conventions just to be a part of these actual plays because they're no longer behind a screen, and sometimes there's audience interaction, and that's their draw. They're not there to play games. They're not there to buy, new dice. They're there to go, fanboy, fangirl out for these people that they only see on their computers, phones, or television screens.
Yes.
And
and that's part of that cultural thing where people are looking for particular experiences at a convention.
Yes.
And that is one of those. They may not be, if they're not playing a role-playing game or a board game or whatever their gaming interest is, but if they do have an interest in, like, say, Critical Role and Critical Role's there, they're like paying big money to go see them play live because that's an experience they want that they can get at that convention.
Yeah.
And by God, they're going to get it if they can.
Yeah.
Because that's part of that con experience that they want to get.
Right.
And that they can get it. And they're going to that convention because they can get it.
Meanwhile, the creators, the writers, the artists are sitting at their booth in the vendor hall and they're going, "Would you like me to sign your book?" And they're like, "And you are?"
Yeah, right. So that leads, I think, into our last topic, I think.
Sure. And it's an important one.
Right. But what and why do people keep coming back to game conventions?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So take point on that, Scott. Why?
Yeah,
why?
You're going to spend too much money. You're going to try, but you're probably not going to get a perfect night's sleep. You're going to be running at 100 miles per hour for quite a bit of the time. You're going to wake up very exhausted at some point.
You're not selling me on this.
No, but why is once not enough? Because a lot of times you're going to go back and you may do the same thing just in different order. But I think it pulls into what we discussed about earlier, and that has been a part of just about every bit of this culture topic that we've talked about, is shared community, shared enthusiasm, a sense of belonging, the constant possibility of these memorable experiences and moments that can be as spontaneous as hell that you never planned for. And for just a few days, you are completely immersed in a world that's built around your passions, and likewise, everyone else primarily feels the same way. And then it's why we game. It's to take a break from reality, have a bit of a riposte as we play our games, hang out with people, and do the things that we do before we go back and deal with the shit show that is burning around down around our shoulders.
Right.
But this is it. Turned up to 11 and 24 hours a day, 3 to 4 days if you're lucky, and that never goes away. And whereas they say insanity is trying to do the same thing again and again, but trying to reach a different result, this doesn't apply to this, because you are doing the same thing again and again to revisit the moment. And I want to say 90% of the time it does that and more. So that's why people keep coming back and create jars of money like I do, called Daddy's Convention Fund, do not touch. And people plan their a year out to go to these things. And not just Gen Con. People plan a year out to go to a convention that may have 150 people because that's their jam.
Hey, I go for the body odor and smelly feet.
I'm just kidding. We've discussed this. I mean, so I can assure you, I will buy you some shoes and a sweaty T-shirt, and that'll keep you to the next convention. So, but how about you? I mean, I know I kind of ran with it here, but
no, but you summed it up quite nicely and elegantly. I mean, that's why I go to game conventions. I think that's why a lot of people continue to go to game conventions. They want to play games they may not necessarily get to play any other time,
right?
Or with people they may not get to play with ever, or at regular intervals,
right?
They may go specifically to play in tournaments that they can't play in any other way. In particular, I'm thinking like miniatures, cards. Like when we did the DCC X-Crawl tournament, there's no way you could play in that in any other venue or format.
Absolutely not.
So you go to conventions to have experiences that are specific to the convention, regardless of the convention size, right?
Yeah.
Like I specifically go to try to play games I've never played before.
Mm-hmm.
I can play games locally I've never played before, but that is like pulling teeth because people just want to play the same things over and over and over. But at conventions, I get the opportunity to play with people I've never played with before or those that I have.
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, I've played with some of them before, but people are always offering to run different games. I can run different games. And in particular, I go for the social elements and aspects of that conventions offer, as do other people. And I know lots of people like those social type engagements, and that community building and the networking. Not to mention, people just love to be with other people.
Right.
Now, there are those introverts, but most people are kind of middle of the road or extroverts, and they do like to socialize. And what better place to do it than at a game convention?
Yeah.
So,
and I think one more thing I will point out probably before we come to a close here is one of the extra major reasons why people keep coming back is you can go 24 hours a day for 3 days, 4 days at a convention, and there is never going to be enough time to do everything you want.
You are not wrong. So on that happy note, I think we should wrap this episode up because we have time enough to do that. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, email us with comments. Scott, what's our email address?
titterpigspod@gmail.com.
Yep. Send us your likes, dislikes, your thoughts and comments on convention culture, what you like about cons, dislike about cons. And yes, we already know everybody just totally dislikes body odor, feet funk, all that stuff. So we don't need those emails. Please. Scott, what do you want to add before we roll out of here?
No, if we missed something, let us know. If you want to add to the discussion, drop us an email, comment on our social media. And, convention culture is not the same everywhere. If you've got something specific you want to bring up that we may have missed, please do so, and we may mention it on the next podcast.
And with that, we're out of here.